back to BioTrek Sailing. We are Pierre, Lisa, and our furry friend Tiller, sailing around the world in our Outremer 5X catamaran. In our last video, we arrived in South Africa at Port Elizabeth, and we were anxious to get to Cape Town before December 15th, when many of the marine stores and marine services would be closing for summer vacation and for Christmas. We left in the early morning and we proceeded eastward toward the Agulhas Current so that we could have a faster sail down to Cape Town. One advantage of having a fast boat is that it's easier to avoid bad weather. And when we left Port Elizabeth, we knew that we could make it all the way to Cape Town before the next cycle of bad weather would arrive. So we've just left East London and oh yeah, there's lots of water on the lens. We're just out of the shallow area, and that's where the waves are the worst, and we have had some that look to be about 20 foot high, but the period is still nice and long, and if the weather doesn't go as predicted, we'll nip into Nisa. So it's pretty smooth now. We're motor sailing, and normally we'd be at 6 knots, and with the current we're at about 10. Okay, good morning. We're on the way to Cape Town, and it's Saturday. It's 5 in the morning. The sun just came up, full sunrise. The sun comes up early here. And we were in the current last night to get a boost. We were going 10, 11, sometimes 12 knots with the current, and the wind was up and down. We have the one reef in the main, and we have the staysail out. But when I came on watch, it just kept getting rougher and rougher and rougher. So I woke up here and I told him I thought we should get out of the current, and he took over, and we are out of the current, and it's nice and smooth. You can see I'm holding the camera nice and smoothly. We're just out of the current, and I've just had to jibe the boat because there's a lot of traffic here, and just avoiding a ship. We just passed a ship called Quebec, which is where we're from, and now we're passing a ship called Boston, which is where we currently live. So I don't know, don't really believe in superstitions and omens, but it all looks like a good sign for getting to Cape Town quickly. The wind has died completely. It's supposed to stay that way, but that means good conditions, and the Agulhas Current, we're out of the current as I mentioned, but the weather patterns are still quite generated by these lows that come up around the Cape and affecting the current. And it looks like we're going to have good weather all the way to Cape Town if we keep going. But for the boats, the Raleigh that's still further north, there's a week of lows going to be rolling in. I'm not sure they'll be able to leave on the departure date unless the weather changes, but they're definitely going to have to do hops all the way down the coast. Somewhere around here, you can see we have no wind. So this is as the day progresses. You can see we still have no wind. But we don't have any lows affecting us. This is Sunday. No wind. Will be coming around towards the Cape, but this low will be south of us. And by Monday we will be inside. We'll be in the marina. And you can see Tuesday now, this low is going to come, but actually hug the land and come up the coast. So that's going to affect some of the boats coming down the coast still. And then the Raleigh is supposed to leave, I believe, on Thursday. So they have this low that has to pass before they can leave Richards Bay. And then there's a very short window before this next low is going to start coming up the coast. So we're glad we made this decision to go straight to Cape Town when we had the good weather window. And that's it for the Saturday morning report on the way to Cape Town. As we motor sail along, we start to see seals playing in the ocean, a sign that the water is getting colder and colder. Of course, you can also see that with the jackets that we're wearing. So, happy Thanksgiving. We're almost in Cape Town, and we're a couple days late with Thanksgiving. We've got a very small chicken instead of a turkey. Kale salad with quinoa. I could get kale in South Africa, totally amazing. Gravy, of course. And peas, and unfortunately no cranberry sauce, so we have to make do with a South African chutney. sunset, there is no wind, and as BioTrek glides along the coast, we're motoring. As the sun sinks below the horizon, the sky explodes into purple hues, turning more brilliant just where we lost the sight of the sun. Just a gorgeous night for our last night at sea.
Basically, this is all the traffic. Big, larger ships traffic that cannot make it to the Suez Canal are going through the southern route. And we're just passing at the moment south of Cape Anguillas, or the Cap des Aiguilles in French. The next burst of land, about about 80 miles away, will be the Cape of Good Hopes, which is just short of Cape Town. And Cape of Good Hope is not the southernmost point. It's located at 3424 south instead of Cape Anguillas, which is at 3454 south.
And it's at Cape Anguillas that we're crossing from the Indian Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean.
That's where, at Cape Anguillas, that's where we physically change ocean name from Indian Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean.
I'll pause here to jump forward in time to show you what this area of South Africa looks like, because we took a trip with a bunch of friends from the rally down to Cape Point, and it was a fabulous trip with beautiful views all along the way as we drove along Chapman's Peak all the way to Cape Point, which is a national park, and we could see stunning views of the ocean from there, the cliffs, the waves crashing, really just a fabulous trip. Cape Point is about 60 miles from Cape Agulhas, so it's very southerly also. Cape Point is typically a very windy region of South Africa. It is not windy like this as we sail past here. From this high vantage point, you can see the reefs that must be avoided when you sail past this coast. We had started out very early on our journey to Cape Point, and afterwards we went to the Cape of Good Hope, and at this time it was besieged with tourists, so we didn't take the picture in front of the sign. The national park here is a real treasure with lots of wildlife to see. But let's get back to our voyage towards Cape Town. We were just passing this area by boat. We'll be in Cape Town tomorrow.
Since we left Indonesia, nice straight line. And after that, that 1 year we spent in French Polynesia, now crossing from Panama to Gambia.
We've sailed BioTrek over 40,000 miles since we purchased her in La Grande-Motte, France, across the Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian Oceans, and now back in the Atlantic Ocean. So we're just going slowly because we want to arrive in the morning, and the wind is light. Or, I guess, no wind. As BioTrek approaches Cape Town, we motor slowly to arrive just before 5 a.m. when the sun would be up. Sky is filled with soft colors as the sun readies its appearance from behind the hills near Cape Town. As we approach Cape Town, the city begins to unveil itself, twinkling lights shimmering against the backdrop of the Table Mountain. As we get closer, the city emerges like a silent guardian of the land. Robben Island. There calls Port Control as required, and then the lift bridges to request opening for 5:15. We see the stadium where we would later go to watch a rugby match between South Africa and France. The French rally boats were cheering their compatriots on. As we entered the harbor, we were greeted by a playful ballet of seals frolicking in the waters. Ahead, the two bridges, first the swing bridge and then the lift bridge. We have rushed to make the 5:15 a.m. opening, and they lift gracefully as welcoming arms to the city. bridges stand as gatekeepers, the inner sanctuary of the marina. And we're here and just delighted. So beautiful coming in with sunrise, before sunrise, seeing Table Mountain, seeing the city with all the lights on, changing to daylight, all the pastel colors in the sky. So beautiful. And we got Tiller here, all excited. Here you go, Tiller. Okay, better get going to tie up the boat properly so we can go and catch some sleep. Summer vacation in Cape Town starts December 15th and is merged with Christmas vacation to a long annual holiday. We had many workers lined up so we could get started right away with maintenance on the boat. One of the first orders of business was to roof the mainsail so that we could send it for some routine maintenance, but the workers were afraid of Tiller. I've tied up the dog. You can come on board if you want. We also removed the boom because we weren't happy with the small repair done in Mauritius, so this time it would be done properly. Where's the broken part?
Go from your shoulders, guys. Might be easier.
Many of the lines on BioTrack have been spliced and repaired many times, and with perhaps the best rope shop in the whole world in Cape Town, we purchased a lot of rope and replaced most of the lines on the boat. Of course, that means a lot of work in replacing the lines. This is the one for the roller. This is the one for the first reefing line with the hooks.
Can you see what I'm doing? This is what I'm doing. Splicing this.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice thick bridle, right? That's what we're going to use. You've got the new one in already? Of course, everything that comes off must be put back, so that was a lot of work with the boom and the mainsail and all of the ropes and reefing lines that had to be redone and attached properly. Much of the exterior caulking was looking dry and brittle after being in tropical sun for almost 4 years, and so we had it all replaced and it was sparkling new. Professional job. During the first week after our arrival in Cape Town, BioTrack was an absolute beehive of activity and looking sparkling, shining, and brand new after all was finished. With BioTrack at the V&A Marina, we could also enjoy the sights, shopping, and restaurants. The V&A waterfront is named after Queen Victoria and her son Alfred. Prince Alfred initiated the construction of the Cape Town Harbour in 1860. That was when Queen Victoria was the reigning monarch of the United Kingdom. The V&A waterfront, which includes the marina, is now a popular mixed-use area featuring shopping, dining, and leisure activities, along with its historical maritime heritage. It's a working shipyard as well, which adds additional interest to the marina, as you can be watching the operation of the tugboats or look at the working dry dock. Cape Town is a favorite stop of our whole round the world, and here are some reasons why. The other rally boats started to arrive at the marina. was one of the last to arrive, and it was a gusty, windy day. Soon the empty dock was full of rally boats. And with all the work finished on, or most of the work finished on BioTrek, we could now enjoy a visit to some regions of South Africa, and you'll see that in our next video. We support a not-for-profit foundation, the Alliance to Cure, and all funds go to help curing this devastating brain disease called cerebral cavernous malformation. More information is on our website.